Hello, this is Clive Fisher welcoming the Screen Sport viewers along to the 29th staging of the British Speedway final at Coventry's Brandon Stadium. Straight into the action with heat number 1. So the lineup then for the opening race. Richard Knight is in the red helmet colour. He moves into gate number 1. Steve Schofield in blue, he's in gate 2. Andy Smith goes into gate 3 in white, and on the outside Neil Collins in yellow-black. The green light's on, the tapes rise, and the British final of 1991 gets underway straight away, and it is the rider in yellow-black, Neil Collins, and Andy Smith with him along in white. Andy Smith drives underneath in the white helmet colour to take the lead from Neil Collins. Third place is Richard Knight in red, but with one lap gone, it is Andy Smith who's done the work from the back, who leads heat number 1. Second place in yellow and black, the familiar style of Neil Collins with the old red headscarf hanging out the back of his helmet. Still it is Richard Knight in third place, and tailed off in fourth in blue is Steve Schofield. So the pace hot, fast and furious as one would expect here at Brandon Stadium. A packed crowd to witness what is the 29th staging of this prestigious event in the BSBA calendar. And in heat number 1 it is Andy Smith, who looked pretty sure of 3 points as he rounds the final 2 turns. It's Andy Smith in the white helmet colour that comes up to collect the 3 points. He wins. In second place in yellow and black was Neil Collins, and in third place in red was Richard Knight. So there he is, Andy Smith, currently unattached by any British League club, although on contract to Bradford, but rides in the Swedish Elite League for Eskils Junior. So there we are, Andy Smith, no doubt pleased with life at the moment. Those 3 points gets every rider off to a great start. They all want to win their first outing, and in this British final with only 10 qualifiers going forward to the Commonwealth final at Kings Lynn on June the 2nd. Those 3 could be very important indeed. Andy Smith, the winner of heat number 1. So heat number 2, and they're coming into the line. In red is Mark Loram from Kings Lynn. In gate 2, that is in blue, is Chris Louis, the current World Under-21 champion. Gate 3 in white is Gary Havelock, and on the outside in yellow and black, many people's favourite, Kelvin Tatum, of course used to ride for Coventry. The tapes rise, the bikes roar, and driving into the first turn is very, very hectic indeed. Very hectic indeed, and we've got a faller. Down he goes in blue. That is Chris Louis. Chris Louis is on the deck. The race will no doubt have to be stopped because there's no sign of Chris getting to his feet. Takes a long time to get the red lights on, but at long last they are. Well, Chris Louis on his backside at the moment. We keep our fingers crossed. He rides for the Ipswich Connor Witches in the Sunbright League. As we mentioned, he is the current World Under-21 champion. Let's take a look at exactly what happened as they roar into that first turn. Always going to be some very fast and furious first turns there. He doesn't seem to get in anybody's way. At this moment in time, he seems to lock up, straighten up, lock up again, and down he goes into no man's land. And from that moment onwards, it looked as though Chris Louis was always going to be pointless from his first outing, heat number 2 of the British final here at Brandon Stadium in Coventry. As always, pictures coming from the hot-eyed cameraman of Screen Sport, the best possible coverage of any sport, whether it's ice racing or, of course, traditional speedway action. So there we are, Mark Loram just checking that Chris Louis is all right, but he has been excluded his prime cause of the stoppage of heat number 2, so it'll be 3 riders only for the rerun. But there we've seen the crowd, the familiar face of Eric Gunderson, and nice to see Eric at Brandon Stadium with all the fans here witnessing what we hope is going to be a thrill-packed afternoon's entertainment. So the restart of heat number 2, 3 riders only. Mark Loram in red, gate 1, Gary Havelock, white, gate 3, and Kelvin Tatum on the outside, yellow and black, gate 4. The restart of heat number 2. The tapes rise, and into that turn again they drive. This time it is Gary Havelock. It's Havelock who's got breathing space between Kelvin Tatum and Mark Loram, and Loram it is who moves sweetly into second place. So Tatum, who of course is the holder of this trophy, 1990 was Kelvin's win year, along with 87 as well, but he at the moment is back in third place, and dare I say, looking a little bit sluggish on that machine at the moment. But it's Gary Havelock, who of course races for the Bradford Colite Jutes in the Sunbright League, with 2 laps gone, who leads. Still Mark Loram trying to get every ounce out of that machine. Tremendous character, Mark Loram, but he's got a bit of work to do getting up ground on Gary Havelock. It was Gary Havelock who, with 1 lap to go in heat 2, failed at the overseas final in 1990 Speedway Championship here at Brandon Stadium. No doubt bitterly disappointed then, but out to make amends here on Sunday, May the 19th, as he comes up to take the checker flag. It's Havelock that wins. Second place is Mark Loram, and in third place, a long, long way behind, a dejected Kelvin Tatum. But it's Gary Havelock from Bradford who gets the 3 points, and yet again following Andy Smith, who is a Bradford contracted rider, no doubt just pleased with life to get that first race win under the belt so early is heat number 2. 2 points to Mark Loram and 1 point to Kelvin Tatum. That's the result of heat number 2. So there we see Alan Graham just getting a bit of a traction, getting the wheels lined up for heat number 3, which sees Alan Graham going to gate 1 in red, John Wilson blue, gate 2, Paul Thorpe in white, gate 3, and Dave Mullett in yellow black, gate 4. This is heat 3. Straight into the first turn they go, and Dave Mullett's got a good start from the outside. Mullett leads at the moment. Mullett in yellow and black, but coming underneath him is Alan Graham. So Mullett second, Alan Graham in pole position. And down goes Dave Mullett along with Alan Graham, and it was Dave Mullett who just clipped the back wheel there of Alan Graham. And we'll keep our fingers crossed that both these riders are okay. Dave Mullett just went into the third turn here at Brandon, as you say there, and clips the back wheel of Alan Graham. And from that moment onwards, both riders were literally out of the race. The referee's decision is a restart with 3 riders, only Dave Mullett being deploying the cause of the stoppage, and I think that's fair to say. But Dave on his feet, he's a wary old character, is Dave Mullett, a sheep farmer down on the outskirts of Canterbury and Kent. But sadly that machine not looking too good at the moment. So we keep our fingers crossed that Dave is okay to continue in his debut British final, and Dave no doubt will be out to make amends later in the meeting. So the restart with only 3 riders. Alan Graham thankfully okay. He comes into gate number 1 in the red helmet colour. The 2 other riders are Paul Thorpe in white, and the rider in blue will be Sean Wilson. No rider from gate 4 in yellow and black, Dave Mullett excluded, is a prime cause of the stoppage of the first staging of heat number 3. Alan Graham, we wish he's okay. Of course, he overcome Hodgkin's disease back in 1986. Many of us thought that might have ended his speedway career, but he's a wary old competitor, had spells with Swindon, with his parent club, Craig Heath, who's given so much loyal service to in the Midlands. And no doubt Alan would love to get through this qualifying round, the British final, to go forward to the Commonwealth on Sunday, June the 2nd at Kings Lynn in Norfolk. But he's overcome this fall. Let's see what happens as the tape rise on the restart of heat number 3. As they now move in, starter Marshall Coleman them in. He drops his arms to signify to the referee everything is okay. The green light's on, the tapes rise, the bikes roar, and in they drive. And it is the rider in white, Paul Thorpe, who makes the superb first turn. Alan Graham is there with him. Has Graham got the speed? He hasn't. It's Thorpe who leads, and now all of a sudden Sean Wilson comes underneath Alan Graham to go to second place. So with 1 lap gone, it is Paul Thorpe that leads. Sean Wilson in second place, with Alan Graham following the first staging, who's back in third place, and perhaps just a little bit shaken from what happened in the first staging of this race. But it is Paul Thorpe who says thank you very much indeed. It's all about Lady Luck and the second bite of the cherry, and there's no doubt that Paul's going to say a special thank you to that. So Thorpe leads. Still Sean Wilson in second place. Of course, rode here at Coventry last season for the Coventry Bees. He knows every inch of this Brandon circuit. And Alan Graham now surely content with just 1 point in his opening ride here in the British final. They're coming around the final 2 turns. It's going to be 3 easy points for Paul Thorpe, who wins. Second place, Sean Wilson. And a long way back and taking life very steady is Alan Graham, who must be cursing his luck. But there we are, Paul Thorpe, another Bradford rider who gets 3 points from his opening ride. He wins heat number 3 quite easily. Second place, Sean Wilson, 2 points for him, and Alan Graham gets a solitary point for finishing in third place. But congratulations to Paul Thorpe, the winner of heat number 3. So heat number 4, and there we see in the red helmet colour, Jeremy Doncaster. Jem having a bit of a mixed season in the Sunlight League with the Reading Racers, but come back to form with a bang last night at Swindon, where he recorded a 15-point maximum, taking Reading to a away victory at Swindon. So the pole lineup for heat number 4, Jeremy Doncaster at gate 1 in red. In gate 2 in blue will be Joe Screen from the Bellevue Aces. In gate 3 in white will be John Davies from the Wimbledon Dons. And on the outside, Martin Dugard from Oxford, who celebrated his 22nd birthday just yesterday. So congratulations on that, Martin. He's in yellow and black in gate number 4 in heat number 4. That's the pole lineup: Doncaster, Screen, Davies and Dugard. as the 4 riders come in now to complete everybody's first ride in the 29th staging of the British Speedway Final. Green lights on. Held for a long time, but eventually they go up and driving straight into the first turn. It's Doncaster, and in yellow and black it is a familiar style of Martin Dugard, who drives round the pack, so Dugard leads. Blue coming up to join him is Joe Screen. Doncaster now back in 3rd place, and tailed off last is John Davies. 1 lap gone, and it was a great drive from the outside for Martin Dugard from, of course, the Oxford Cheetahs. So Dugard leads. 2nd place in blue, Joe Screen. Still Doncaster 3rd, but there's no catching this fella at the moment. He's in superb form. Martin Dugard, who really took the bit between his teeth as the tapes rose on heat number 4. So Dugard still leads. Joe Screen, who's going to have to do something just a little bit special. Doncaster still in 3rd place. We're on the final lap of heat number 4. Down the back straight for the final time, and I'm sure Dugard's going to start this British final with 3 points. Straightens up, gets those wheels in line, and it's Dugard who gets her in pole position. He gets the 3 points. 2 points to the man in 2nd place, who was Joe Screen from Bellevue, and 1 for Jeremy Doncaster in 3rd place. But there he is, birthday boy yesterday, 22 years of age, Martin Dugard from Oxford, who gets the 3 points. So there you are, congratulations to Martin Dugard. Join us after the break for more British final action. Screen Sport cameras welcome you back to Brandon Stadium in Coventry, where the pace hottens up for the British Speedway Championship. Heat number 5 is next on the agenda. Martin Dugard, 2 on the trot for Martin. He goes into gate number 1 in red. He won heat number 4, you may recall. Richard Knight goes into gate number 2 in blue. Mark Loram in white, gate 3. And Paul Thorpe, also a previous heat winner, he's in yellow and black in gate number 4. This is heat number 5. Up she blows, and away they drive from the start, and straight into the lead it is Martin Dugard and Paul Thorpe on the outside. These two clear of the pack at the moment, and there's Thorpe just with his nose in front. Thorpe on the outside, Dugard on the inside. Richard Knight back in 3rd place, and Thorpe is really flying here at Brandon Stadium this afternoon. Dugard tucked in behind him, but it really was Thorpe who made ground down the back straight and then gradually pulled clear of the Oxford Star. Still Knight in 3rd place, and Mark Loram sadly tailed off at the moment in 4th. But it is Paul Thorpe who really is driving for home. Martin Dugard and Richard Knight now becoming into contention with Mark Loram as well. But there's no doubt about the man who's in pole position at the moment. He's way in front. This is where all the points are going to be won and lost. The minor places as Richard Knight comes up to try and get 2nd place over Martin Dugard. Round the final 2 turns of heat number 5. And coming out to take the flag is Paul Thorpe, who wins. 2nd place is Martin Dugard. In 3rd place is Richard Knight. But a great scalp for the man there in yellow and black, Paul Thorpe, who gets his 2nd win of the afternoon. He's now on 6th and unbeaten in this British home final at Coventry Stadium. Congratulations to Paul Thorpe, the winner of heat number 5. So heat number 6 is next on the agenda, but before that we tell you that Paul Thorpe has shattered the Brandon Stadium track record in heat number 5, so congratulations, Paul. I don't know if you're one for momentums, but that's certainly one to savour for a long time. Paul Thorpe, track record holder here at Brandon Stadium after winning heat 5. So heat number 6, Joe Screen red, Alan Graham in blue, Steve Schofield in white, and Gary Havelock, a previous heat winner, is in the yellow and black. That's the pole lineup for heat number 6 of this 29th staging of the British Speedway Final. Coming as always from Brandon Stadium in Coventry, and the Screen Sport cameras as always there to bring you the best possible action. So this is heat 6, riders going into the line, the green light's on, the tapes go up now, and away they drive. And who's there in pole position? It's the rider in blue, Alan Graham, who's there, but just look at Gary Havelock coming round the outside of him. Has he got the pace? He has indeed. Havelock in yellow and black, Alan Graham in blue. The contenders for 1st and 2nd with 1 lap gone, but it's Havelock who's clear at the moment. Alan Graham tucked in behind him. Now in red, coming up to put some pressure on Alan Graham is Joe Screen, and in white, Steve Schofield in 4th place. Just look at Joe Screen now coming up round the outside of Alan Graham, who's got 2nd place. So Screen, the leg trailer, the all-action boy from the Bellevue Aces up there in Manchester, is through to 2nd, but he's got a lot of work to do to catch up, Gary Havelock, who's really flying here at Coventry. So one more up to go in heat number 6. It's Gary Havelock in the yellow and black helmet colour who leads. Joe Screen now down the back straight for the final time. Has he got anything left? Alan Graham still in 3rd place. Down the final 2 bends and straightening up. Who's going to get there? It's just Havelock who wins. 2nd place is Joe Screen. In 3rd place is Alan Graham. A great scrap, and congratulations to Gary Havelock for not only overcoming Alan Graham but withstanding the challenge of Joe Screen in the latter stages of that event. So it is Gary Havelock who gets 3 points, 2 to Joe Screen and 1 to Alan Graham. That's the result of heat number 6. So Gary Havelock and Paul Thorpe both unbeaten on 6 points, but there we see another race winner, Andy Smith in yellow and black. He goes into gate number 4 in heat number 7. The full lineup: Sean Wilson is in red, Jeremy Doncaster in blue, Chris Louis is in white, and Andy Smith on the outside gate, gate number 4 in yellow and black. So Jeremy Doncaster and Sean Wilson. Chris Louis desperate to get amongst the points. Chris Louis a faller and excluded first time out. So the start of Marshall Coleman, he's satisfied. The green light now goes on. And away they go from the start of heat number 7 and into the first turn. It's Doncaster who leads, but coming around the outside. Oh, in flying colours is both Chris Louis and Andy Smith. But it is Louis who leads at the moment. Louis leads, Doncaster 2nd, Andy Smith in 3rd. But it was Chris Louis, what a sweet 1st and 2nd turn from him, who drove round the pack. Doncaster still 2nd. Oh, and Andy Smith is taken. Andy Smith is down. The rider in red, Sean Wilson. Now, did Sean Wilson have any contact with Andy Smith at all there? We'll take another look from our other camera, and it does to me look as though it was the rider in red, Sean Wilson, who took out Andy Smith. And the referee lights are on, and it is Andy Smith who thankfully is to his feet. And there the rider in red, Sean Wilson, saying, "I'm sorry, me old fella, but I didn't mean to do it." But gladly Andy Smith is back in the restart of heat number 7 as we see the red exclusion light on for Sean Wilson. Andy Smith, a worry old character, sadly, as I say, out of the British League speedway scene at the moment, but no doubt we had to impress 1 or 2 promoters this afternoon in an effort to get fixed up very, very shortly. Right in the Swedish elite lead for Eskilstuna, along with Billy Hamill from Craigheath in America, and of course Peter Nolly from Sweden and Swindon. So there we are, heat number 7 with no rider in red. Sean Wilson being primed the cause of Andy Smith's fall. So 3 riders only: Jeremy Doncaster blue, Chris Louis white, and Andy Smith in yellow and black. The tension packed here at Brandon Stadium. All these riders know they need to get about 8 or 9 points to qualify. Up go the tapes and away they roar, and straight away it's Doncaster and Andy Smith. Doncaster and Andy Smith driving into the 1st and 2nd turn, and Chris Louis taking the inside line, and Chris Louis drives underneath Doncaster. So Chris Louis back to pole position. Doncaster 2nd, Andy Smith 3rd, with 1 lap gone. But a great sweep manoeuvre on the 1st and 2nd turn. Missed the start, but Chris Louis cut underneath the other 2 riders, Doncaster and Andy Smith, took the inside line and drove down the back straight, and eventually made 1st place on the 3rd turn. So Doncaster still 2nd, Andy Smith 3rd, and perhaps Andy feeling the effects of that fall, and no disrespect to that, because it was a little bit of a nasty tumble, trying to make up ground and get a bit of pressure on Jeremy Doncaster. You see the flag raised for 1 more lap in heat number 7. But looks as though Chris Louis, after that fall in heat number 2, is going to come back with 3 points. Rounds the final 2 bends here at Brandon. And number 7 on its back, it's Chris Louis who gets to the checker flag, who wins. Jeremy Doncaster in 2nd place, and in 3rd place was Andy Smith. So congratulations there to the World Under-21 champion. Pressure on his shoulders after that 1st heat fall, but he does it. He comes on the back and does the biz as he gets 3 points in heat number 7, 2 to Jeremy Doncaster and 1 to Andy Smith. That's the result of heat number 7. The applause from the crowd as Andy Smith goes back to the pits. And now we wait for the riders to come out for heat number 8. Still the lineup then for heat number 8. Neil Collins in red, Kelvin Tatum, a disappointing first ride for Kelvin. He's in blue, gate number 2. Dave Mullett, thankfully okay to continue in the British final. He's in white, gate number 3. And John Davies, yellow and black, He's in gate number 4. Riders called in. Last one to settle is Luke Clutch sponsored. John Davies in yellow and black on the outside. The green light's on, the bikes rev, and away they drive from the start. And the first one to show as they go into the first turn is Neil Collins and Kelvin Tatum. And Tatum now beginning to put a bit of pressure on that back wheel and drives down the back straight in first place. Neil Collins in red in second, and the battle is for the minor places. White and yellow and black Mullett and John Davies having a rare old tussle, but there's no doubt about the leader. That's Kelvin Tatum, transferred of course to Berwick during the winter months from Coventry, where he spent some successful seasons for about £30,000, and well, he's really doing well for the Border Club in their quest for honours after stepping up to Division 1 of the Sunbright League in 1991. He leads still from Neil Collins second, Dave Mullett third, and John Davies fourth. There we see Dave Mullett in a brand new spanking pair of leather sponsored by Satellite Systems in Wallingford. But it's Kelvin Tatum they've all got to beat here in heat number 8. He looks over his shoulder, he's a long, long way clear. Kelvin Tatum, surely with 3 points now to add to his one in his previous outing. It's Tatum that wins. Second place in red was Neil Collins, and in third place Dave Mullett in white. So Kelvin Tatum gets 3 points to add to his one in his previous outing, and he's looking pretty good for a place. As we see the scoreboard after heat number 8, it's Gary Havelock and Paul Thorpe both on 6 points, Martin Dugard on 5 and 4 on 3. That's Tatum, Collins and Smith. Join us for more Speedway after the break. Fisher welcoming you back to Brandon Stadium for more of the British Speedway final. We're now on to heat number 9, and the pace is certainly hotting up. Gary Havelock there, one of the 2 leaders on 6 points. He's in the red helmet colour going into gate number 1. The opponents in this race, John Davies in blue, gate number 2. John failed to score so far. Richard Knight in white, he's on 2 points in gate number 3, and Sean Wilson also on 2 points in yellow-black in gate number 4. That's where they'll line up for heat number 9 of the British final, coming from Brandon Stadium in Coventry. Lights rev, the smoke roar, the tapes are finally released, and away they go into action. And the first, yellow and white dice, the white helmet colour of Richard Knight and the yellow and black of Sean Wilson, and also their blue John Davies is in the thick of it. Let's just take a look from the camera on the centre green exactly what happened. This time Gary Havelock was, it was a rider in white and yellow and black that locked together, which was of course Richard Knight and Sean Wilson. John Davies hits the melee. We'll keep our fingers crossed all these 3 riders are okay. It was a nasty looking tumble. There certainly is some fast and furious first turns here at Brandon Stadium. I mean, it's all about qualification from these rounds to get to the big one, the Ullevi Stadium, on August the 31st for that world final. And we keep our fingers crossed to John Davies, who's on the feet, on his back still at the moment. The other riders are, of course, Richard Knight and Sean Wilson. And John looking in some discomfort at the moment. And sadly John was already on no points, and he would have really liked to have got amongst them on this particular outing. We see that Richard Knight is sort of sat up on the track. Richard, who made his debut, of course, in the World Final at Bradford last season. What a great scrap he had. And there we see Sean Wilson looking a little bit dazed and bruised. In a few words with Eric Bucock, of course, the co-England team manager. John Davies being helped back to the pits, and not very nice to see indeed. John Davies going back. We keep our fingers crossed, John, that you're okay. So the referee's decision is all 4 riders back for the restart of heat number 9. Thankfully no injuries, and all 4 riders now back on the track. What we hope will be a safe return to track action. So the lineup again: Gary Havelock is in red, John Davies blue, Richard Knight white, and Sean Wilson yellow-black. So Gary Havelock's currently on those 6 point total, 2 unbeaten, and he missed the mayhem of the first turn in the first stage in heat number 9, so all he's got to do now is concentrate that a little bit harder. The other 3 have got their own problems, having hit the deck as they entered that first turn. Havelock there just resting the clutch, waiting for the other 3 riders to settle. All about nerves now as the British final gets underway, well in the thick of things. They all know they've got to get enough points, 7 or 8 at least, to get through to King's Lynn and the next round for the quest for World Championship honours. So the last one in is John Davies. Starting marshal's happy, the green light's on. They're off. Straight away is Davies leads. I mean, it's a rider in white, Richard Knight and Gary Havelock. Gary Havelock on the inside of Richard Knight, but Knight is there at the moment. Havelock second, yellow and black Sean Wilson third, and John Davies back in fourth place. So is Richard Knight, who has come back to the thick of things with a superb start in heat number 9, who leads. Gary Havelock second, and this could be Gary's first drop point of the British Championship. Havelock second, Sean Wilson third, Richard Knight now driving into the pits. There's Richard Knight's down, Knight is down, and through go the other three competitors. Gary Havelock comes through now to take the lead. Sean Wilson in yellow and black is second, and John Davies is third with 1 lap to go in a very, very eventful heat number 9. And surely we look at Richard Knight and we have to say, is he going to be a victim of the British final after making such a superb effort in that World final last year? But Gary Havelock comes up, he takes the checker flag, he wins. So Havelock gets the 3 points, and so 2 points for Sean Wilson in second, and 1 point for John Davies third. So there we are, tremendous ride for Gary Havelock. He goes in to the interval stage here at Brandon Stadium, knowing that he's unbeaten on 9 points. Congratulations to Gary Havelock, as he's the winner of heat number 9. There we see Richard Knight just explaining to everybody exactly what went wrong. He lifted and just had to bring that machine down and bail out, and that's what he did. Heat number 10 of this British final, Dave Mullett rides in red, Mark Loram is in blue, Jeremy Doncaster white, and Steve Schofield is in yellow and black. Doncaster on 3, Loram on 2, and Mullett on 1. Schofield still to score. So a few points up for grabs here. We'll wait and see as the starter marshal calls into line who's going to get the mix up. Green lights on, and away they drive from the start, and the first to show in the blue helmet colour is Mark Loram. Mark Loram leads. Loram leads from the rider in red, Dave Mullett. Steve Schofield in third place and Jeremy Doncaster fourth. Doncaster now trying to make up on Steve Schofield, and now Doncaster drives underneath Steve Schofield. Has he got the power to come through though? Still Mullett holding on to third place, and Doncaster now comes underneath both of them. Doncaster comes underneath both, and we've lost Dave Mullett in an untidy heap, and there it was. Did Doncaster take Dave Mullett's leg away from him? And Dave Mullett knocked for the second time this afternoon going into the fence. There we see Dave Mullett walking back to the pits. We have to keep our fingers crossed he's okay. He looks a little bit shaken, but none the worse for wear is Dave. He's battling old sheep farmer from just on the outskirts of Canterbury. They don't come any better than Dave Mullett. So, for the restart then of heat number 10. Jeremy Doncaster was the man who come through from that position, but it's all 4 back for the restart. There Dave Mullett with the Screen Sport logo on the leg of his leathers. He's in gate number 1 in red. Mark Loram in blue, gate 2. No exclusions from this race, which is a little bit of a surprise by the referee. Jeremy Doncaster in white and Steve Schofield in yellow and black. That's the way they line up for the restart of heat number 10. Second time of asking, they drive into the first turn. This time it's Mullett who makes the start from gate number 1, so Mullett leads. Doncaster now in white, trying the outside line, so Mullett leads. Doncaster trying to go around the outside of him. Has he got the pace? He has indeed. Doncaster swoops around the outside. So Mullett second, Mark Loram third. And sadly Steve Schofield tailed off in fourth, and Loram now takes the inside turn on Dave Mullett and comes through sweetly. So first to third for Dave Mullett, but it's Doncaster that leads. Still second Mark Loram, and now Mullett coming under pressure from Steve Schofield. Mullett lifts, gets the bike back down on the track. There's the man in second place, Mark Loram. Horse rides for the Kings Lynn Stars in the Sunbright League. Had a tremendous 1990 season, perhaps didn't get the publicity he deserved. But it's all eyes on Jeremy Doncaster, who's going to get 3 points if he can hold on to the final 2 bends. Doncaster with number 15 on his back. He comes up, he takes the flag. Second place is Mark Loram. Third place is Dave Mullett. But it's Jeremy Doncaster who gets the 3 points and moves sweetly on now. He was on 3 before this, so he's now on 6 points and goes into the interval, of course, on 6 points. He was the winner of the Overseas Speedway final here at Brandon Stadium last year, and he wins heat number 10. So heat number 11, Kelvin Tatum goes into gate number 1 in red, Paul Thorpe is in blue, Andy Smith in white, and Joe Screen in yellow and black. Thorpe unbeaten on 6 points, and Tatum, Smith and Screen all on 4 points. That's the way they line up across the gate for heat number 11. Green lights on, the tapes now rise, and away they go sweetly into the first turn, and it's a rider in white who is Andy Smith, who's got pole position. Andy Smith with Kelvin Tatum tucked in behind him. So Smith leads, Tatum second. The blue helmet colour of Paul Thorpe, who was unbeaten before this race, is in 3rd place. But it's Smith who leads. Now Tatum getting closer by the metre. Smith's just. Tatum second. Thorpe 3rd. Screen 4th in that order. 2 laps gone. Can Tatum come from the back? He's trying the outside line on Andy Smith. Going down the back straight. Still Smith leads. Tatum now trying the outside swoop. Has he got the pace to come from the back? Smith drives out wide with 1 more lap to go. Smith still leads. Now Tatum for his opponent comes up the inside. Has Tatum got it now? Tatum moves sweetly underneath Andy Smith. Magnificent manoeuvre by the previous British champion. But who's going to get there? It's going to be a race to line. It's just Tatum who gets there. Only just on the line, but what a great race. Tatum punches the air with delight. Andy Smith has to be content with 2nd place, and in 3rd place in all that fabulous action was Paul Thorpe, so Joe Screen failing to score. But Kelvin Tatum really was a great manoeuvre, down the back straight and round the final 2, 3rd and 4th bend. It was round the outside line, then forward his opponent and drifted up the inside so sweetly as Andy Smith went out to block what he thought was his outside manoeuvre. And just look from there on, Andy Smith was totally foxed as Kelvin Tatum sweetly moves through to 1st place and get the 3 points in heat number 11. So heat number 12, the one before the interval stage here at Brandon Stadium. Martin Dugard red, Neil Collins blue, Alan Graham white, and Chris Louis in yellow and black. Chris Louis on 3, Alan Graham on 2, Neil Collins 4, and Martin Dugard on 5. That's our point scoring potential so far, but this is heat number 12. Into the first turn they drive, and straight first one to show is red and yellow and black. Dugard and of course Chris Louis, but Chris Louis just from Martin Dugard in 2nd place. So Chris Louis from the outside drove round the pack on the 1st and 2nd turn. Blue Neil Collins in 3rd place. But all eyes are on this under-21 champion, world under-21 champion, Chris Louis from the Ipswich Witches, who fell in his first outing, heat number 2, but bounced back with tremendous determination and confidence. Won his 2nd outing and looked pretty good for 3 more points in heat number 12. Dugard in 2nd place, and Neil Collins still 3rd, and sadly Alan Graham in 4th place. But Chris Louis, well, it's all about confidence, and surely he's got full of it at the moment. After bouncing back from that first fall in heat number 2, which will have knocked the stuffing out of most riders at his age, he's coming back with great charisma. Number 7 on his back, and he'll go into the interval stage on 6 points as he wins. 2nd place is Martin Dugard. In 3rd place is Neil Collins, but a great win, and that's from Chris Louis in the yellow and black helmet colour as he goes into the interval stage on 6 points in the 29th staging of the British Speedway final, coming from Brandon Stadium in Coventry. So the interval stage, 1 unbeaten rider, Gary Havelock on 9 points, 3 on 7, Paul Thorpe, Martin Dugard and Kelvin Tatum, 3 on 6, Andy Smith, Jeremy Doncaster and Chris Louis, 1 on 5, Neil Collins, Sean Wilson, Joe Screen and Mark Loram, all on 5 points. That's the scoreboard at the interval stage here at Brandon Stadium in Coventry. It's 10 riders only who will go forward to the Commonwealth Speedway final at Kings Lynn on Sunday, June the 2nd. Welcome back after the interval stage here at Brandon Stadium. Chris Louis in red, Dave Mullett blue, Joe Screen white and Richard Knight in yellow and black. This is heat 13. Into the first turn they go, and the one to show in red is Chris Louis again. So Chris Louis in red, and just look at Joe Screen coming up around the outside of him. Both riders in particular love coming from the back. Blue is in third place, which is Dave Mullett. But it is the red helmet colour of Chris Louis that still leads. So Chris really is finding form here at Brandon. Still second is Joe Screen, still third is Dave Mullett, and Richard Knight, who sadly looked to be affected by that fall and well could be looking to fall out of the World Championship as early as the British final, especially after making it through to that World Final in 1990. That would be a shock. Well, all eyes are on the man in pole position with 1 lap to go. Red helmet colour standing out here at Brandon Stadium in the late afternoon. It's Chris Louis around the final 2 bends who's going to straighten up, son of the former British man, of course, John Louis, who gets to the checker flag. Second place is the rider in white, Joe Screen, and the rider in blue, Dave Mullett, gets 1 point. But there he is, Chris Louis. He must be really pleased with life. And on 9 points, one would have to say that Chris Louis looks pretty certain to be at that Commonwealth final at Kings Lynn on June the 2nd. Congratulations to him, 2 points to Joe Screen and 1 to Dave Mullett. So heat number 13, Steve Schofield red, Martin Dugard is in blue, Kelvin Tatum white, and Sean Wilson in yellow and black as they drive from the start. And straight into the lead goes Kelvin Tatum in the white helmet colour. So Tatum it is who leads at the moment. Tatum leads. Steve Schofield in second place, and the minor places between Martin Dugard and Sean Wilson, which is a bit of a surprise to say the least. Dugard, who's done so well, finds himself at the back at the moment. And Steve Schofield, who's been a little bit disappointing, is in second place. So it's all change in heat number 13, but it's all eyes on the man in pole position, who is Kelvin Tatum, who has come back from a disappointing first ride. Kelvin Tatum, disappointing first time out, but bouncing back with true character that we all know he's capable of. The previous British champion in 1990 and also in 1987. But there we see the man who's trying desperately to get that solitary point, Martin Dugard. But at the moment in time, it's yellow and black helmet colour of Sean Wilson that's holding at bay. But coming up to take the win, it is Kelvin Tatum that wins. Second place, a surprise second place to Steve Schofield, and the third to Sean Wilson, so disappointment for Martin Dugard. But there we are, Kelvin Tatum, 3 more points to him. So he's surely now booked his place through to the Commonwealth final. Kelvin Tatum, of course, rode for Coventry. He's the winner of heat number 40. So heat 15, John Davies is in red, Andy Smith blue, Alan Graham in white, and Mark Loram in yellow and black. Riders desperately need to get the points here to stand any chance of going further. Andy Smith probably the only one with a bit of a scoreline. Mark Loram needs to get some more. He's on 4 at the moment. So they come into the line. A lot of the tension now mounts. They all know what they've got to do. They all know what they've got to achieve to get to Kings Lynn. They don't want to bow out at this early stage of the World Championship. They've overcome the 2 semi-finals at Ipswich and of course Cradley Heath in this quest for the British final. So then, this is heat 15. The tapes go up now and away they drive, and into the first turn is Davies who's there. John Davies is there in first place, and also coming under the him is Andy Smith. So Andy Smith and John Davies. Davies still holds on. John Davies leads from Andy Smith, and coming around the outside in white is Alan Graham. Alan Graham's now come through at the vintage age of his career, still showing he can do it. Andy Smith and Alan Graham locked together. Mark Loram in yellow and black in 4th place, trying also to come through on them. It's all action in the back 3. Clear of the pack is John Davies. Doesn't know what's going on behind him though. Alan Graham still in second now. Mark Loram, tremendous effort from Mark Loram, who comes around both the opposition and gets through to second place. So Davies leads. Loram now second. Alan Graham third. And Andy Smith tailed off in 4th place. So lead in that. Everything has changed hands in the minor places. Now Andy Smith takes the last bend over. Has he got anything left? It's all so much difference happening here. As Davies wins, and on the line it was the rider in white who was in second place, Alan Graham, and in 3rd place it was Mark Loram. What a tremendous finish to heat number 15. And Alan Graham not too pleased with life with John Davies, but it's John Davies who gets the 3 points as he led from the second turn. Congratulations to him. But the other 3 having a great battle, and ladies and gentlemen, that's what speedway racing is all about. So heat number 16, and that brings out Paul Thorpe in red. Gary Havelock, who went into the interval stage unbeaten, he's in blue. Neil Collins in white, and Jeremy Doncaster on the outside grid, gate number 4. So, a few more questions to answer. The two Bradford riders on the inside. The tape's rise, and a strut away it is. Havelock, who goes into the first turn. Doncaster trying to come around the outside of him, but takes him a little bit wide as Gary Havelock, and through comes Paul Thorpe. So Havelock leads, Thorpe second, Doncaster third, and sadly last is Neil Collins. So the two Bradford riders lead at the moment as Paul Thorpe drifts terribly wide and Doncaster comes through. So now Doncaster through to second place as Thorpe makes a very, very bad mistake. But has he got any speed, any more power to try and catch Gary Havelock, who really is setting the place alight here at Brandon Stadium? This will be his 4th win of the afternoon, and surely looking pretty good for a rostrum place, if not British champion. So coming up to take the flag for one more lap, it's Gary Havelock still who leads. Doncaster tucked in behind him. Neil Collins is smoothly into 3rd place, but all eyes are on these first two as Gary Havelock comes up to get his 4th win of the afternoon. It's Havelock that wins. 2nd place, Jeremy Doncaster. 3rd place goes to Neil Collins. So congratulations to this young fella, Gary Havelock, who collects his 4th win of this British final, and he's now on 12 points as he wins heat number 16. Jeremy Doncaster gets 2 more points, and 3rd place goes to Neil Collins, who gets 1 more. So there's the scoreboard. Gary Havelock still unbeaten on 12, Tatum on 10, Louis on 9, and Doncaster on 8. That's the scoreboard. Join us for more British final after the break. Clyde Fisher welcoming you back to the conclusion of the 1991 British Speedway final. Well, all will answer for a few of these riders. Richard Knight in red, Kelvin Tatum blue, Jeremy Doncaster white, Lee Coleman coming in for reserve outing, and heat number 17 gets underway and driving to the first turn. It is the blue helmet colour of Kelvin Tatum that leads, Doncaster in white on the outside of him. So Tatum leads, Doncaster second, Richard Knight, who sadly is out of the championship, which is a bit of a surprise to say the least here this afternoon. But Tatum moves sweetly with 1 lap gone into a lead. Doncaster tucked in behind him, just no doubt waiting for the mistake if it does come. Knight still third, and Lee Coleman, who's come in to replace Alan Graham. Doncaster makes a terrible mistake and drifts out wide, and Knight just can't make up any ground to catch on that manoeuvre. So Doncaster still in second, but you won't have to make no mistakes for Knight to come through. So Tatum looking set then to finish his championship on 13 points if he can stay clear of the pack. 1 more lap to go in heat number 17. Down the back straight for the final time, and Kelvin Tatum from Berwick in the Sunbright League, and Mariestad in Sweden comes up to take the checker flag. It's Tatum that wins. Doncaster just holds on to 2nd place, Richard Knight in 3rd. So there we are, Jeremy Doncaster finishing on 10, but it's the man yellow and black we've lost. Lee Coleman taking a fall in the mayhem, but it is Kelvin Tatum who finishes the British final on 13 points, and him and Doncaster safely going through to the Commonwealth final. Heat number 18, Paul Thorpe rides in red, Steve Schofield blue, Chris Louis, winner of his previous 3 outings, is in white, and John Davies yellow and black. John D needs to win this one on the outside to stand any chance of going further in the World Championship honours. Thorpe on 7, Schofield 2, Louis 9, and Davies 4 is a takes rise on heat number 18. And it's a rider in red and yellow and black. Yellow and black Davies has got there, but red comes up underneath him, which is Paul Thorpe. So Thorpe now takes the lead. Davies second, Louis third. Sorry, Schofield third, Louis sadly at the back. Still the red helmet colour of Paul Thorpe, who had a disappointing outing in his 4th ride, but looks to be making amends in heat number 18. Chris Louis come from nowhere to come into 2nd place. Steve Schofield 3rd, and John Davies really has been pushed all over the place and is now in minor positions. So Paul Thorpe looking set to end the British final on 10 points. Still it is Chris Louis in 2nd place, and in 3rd is John Davies. Thorpe looks over his shoulder, sees where the opposition are, and they're a long way behind Paul, so you can take it a little bit easier around the final 2 bends. Already beaten the track record here at Brandon this afternoon, but it's Thorpe that wins. 2nd place for Chris Louis, 3rd for John Davies. So Thorpe goes forward to the Commonwealth final on 10 points. Chris Louis ends on 11, so congratulations to Chris, a great afternoon's work. But there we are, Paul Thorpe, the winner of heat number 18. So the penultimate heat here at Brandon Stadium, Andy Smith red, Dave Mullett blue, Martin Dugard is in white, and Gary Havelock is in yellow and black. So Gary Havelock looking set to become the British Speedway champion. He's on gate number 4 in the yellow and black. Watch him as the tapes rise. Also watch Martin Dugard, who would like to win this one to get on double figure score. He's on 7 points. That's the way they go into the start for heat number 19. Gary Havelock, who really has taken this British final by storm. 4 smooth wins, and must surely be set now to take pole position if he can concentrate, get out of that start, keep that bike buzzing. And up they go, and away they go. And who is the first one to show is Havelock, who's got the audacity to look over his shoulder and see that with him in red is Andy Smith. So Andy Smith and Gary Havelock locked together as they go in the 3rd and 4th turn of lap 1. And now Havelock begins to put a little bit of daylight between him and Andy Smith. So Havelock looking set to become the 1991 British Speedway champion here at Brandon this afternoon. Rides, of course, for Bradford Colite Dukes in the Sunbright League. 2 laps gone, and Havelock not only set to become the British champion, but could go through unbeaten on a 15-point maximum. Andy Smith behind him. In 3rd place is Martin Dugard. But it's Gary Havelock, keeps looking over his shoulder. More worried about the opposition than making a mistake himself. That's how confident this lad is. Had his fair share of problems with the sport, it's fair to say. But he's put all that behind him this afternoon as he comes round the final 2 bends. And it's going to be Gary Havelock that takes the British title. 2nd place, it's going to be Andy Smith. 3rd place, Martin Dugard. But that's all pure speculation, because just look at this young fellow in yellow and black who punches the air with delight. He's become the 1991 British champion. Shakes hands with first Andy Smith, then Martin Dugard. And doesn't he look happy with life? And who can blame him? He's not only taken this British final by storm, but he's produced 5 magnificent outings to win it on a 15-point maximum. The tapes rise on heat number 20. Mark Loram, Joe Screen, Sean Wilson and Neil Collins. And as they drive round the 1st and 2nd turn. And the first one to show in wide is Sean Wilson. Yellow and black, Neil Collins behind him. So Sean Wilson leads, Neil Collins in 2nd place. Blue in 3rd place is Joe Screen, and Mark Loram sadly in 4th. And this will mean Loram is going to have to dice for a reserve place at the Commonwealth final at the moment. But the rider in white, Sean Wilson, will go through if he can stay out of trouble. Sean Wilson now coming under pressure from Neil Collins. Neil Collins in yellow and black. Sean Wilson in white, just watch these two. Sean Wilson in white, of course, rode for Coventry last season, of the last lap of the last heat here at Brandon Stadium. And Neil Collins coming up closer. Has he got anything left? One of the famous Speedway family, of course, the Collins. Coming around the final 2 bends, Neil Collins now with the inside line and squints through. It's Collins who gets there. 2nd place is Sean Wilson, 3rd is Joe Screen. He left it to the final 2 bends, but it's Neil Collins who gets 3 points as he wins heat number 20. It's 2 points for Sean Wilson and 1 point to the rider in 3rd place, Joe Screen. So a run-off for the reserve position at the Commonwealth final between red and white. White is John Davies, red is Mark Loram, and away they drive. And who's going to be the first one to show? It's Davies who gets there in the white army colour. Loram 2nd in red, and Davies dressed wide, and Loram comes through with sweet ease. Has he got the power? It's Loram that leads. Davies 2nd. This is for the reserve berth at Kings Lane on Sunday, June the 2nd. And it's Loram who leads, who will be on home territory. And he'll just have to keep his fingers crossed that perhaps misfortune strikes one of the other 10 competitors and he can go there and actually compete in that meeting. That's what it's all about. Davies 2nd. And perhaps Davies's fall early on in the British final has cost him dearly. But Bart Loram, who had such a great season in 1990 and is doing well for Kings Lynn, sadly publicity doesn't follow him, but with 1 more lap to go, he looks as though he's got that reserve berth at the Commonwealth final. Bar for any unforeseen accidents or misfortunes to that machine as he drives sweetly around the final two bends. It's Mark Loram who comes up to take the win. He's reserved for the Commonwealth final. So congratulations to him. Commiserations to John Davies. And now we know the full lineup for June the 2nd, and there he is, the man who's done it. 15-point maximum for Gary Havelock. Congratulations to you, Gary. Here he is, 15 points and pole position for Gary Havelock. Second place to Kelvin Tatum on 13. Third place, Chris Louis. How well this young fella rode from Ipswich. He's in third on 11. Two riders on 10, Paul Thorpe and Jeremy Doncaster. Neil Collins on 9, Martin Dugard and Andy Smith on 8. Sean Wilson and Joe Screen both on 7, and Mark Loram, who travels to the overseas final, he goes there of course as reserve. The other riders, John Davies on 5, Alan Graham 4, Dave Mullett and Richard Knight both on 3. A disappointment for Richard Knight, and the final position, number 16, was Steve Schofield on 2 points. So there we are, Screen Sport cameras as always. Hope you've enjoyed this great afternoon's entertainment at Brandon Stadium. All remains for me to say is, on behalf of Tommy Randers and Transmission and TV Media, this is Clive Fisher as always for the Hot Shot Cameras at Screen Sport. Says thank you for joining us from Coventry's Brandon Stadium with the news that Gary Havelock is the 1991 British Speedway champion. Good afternoon.